okay? No, but originally I was the one that bought this property from some people named Ike and Grace Gorowski and Ike Degenauers and one other person. And then we developed it and we put homes in here, and then we had this property across the street and this property, and I had property on the other side of the river. And finally, the homeowners were giving me such a bad time, I said I'm going to give it to the Ramapough Indians, because I'd always get along fine with everybody here. You know, when I was building everything, they always came and hunted and fished and did everything, and I didn't stop them, and we had a good relationship. So, you know, I wasn't going to do anything with this property, so I gave it to them, and they have it, and I deeded it over to them. So, you know, anybody to say that it's not theirs, they're wrong. So, I don't know what else.
You have any questions, Uncle?
Well, you were talking about the bridge earlier, how the bridge came about.
The bridge, we owned the bridge, and then finally the town didn't want to take the bridge as a public road because they said it was a one-lane bridge. So therefore we made it a private road, and it belonged to the homeowners association and anybody that owned the property on this side of the river.
So we're literally considered, or not me, but the Ramapough Nation is considered part of this community.
Right.
So why do they exclude us from every time?
Well, they can't exclude you because you're a homeowner on this side of the river, and you're a landowner. And also, I gave a right-of-way to continue on up Halifax Road to anybody that owned property up in the mountains. You know, Nicky DeFries, for instance, he had property up there. You can't just cut him off from his property. And Halifax Road ran up into the mountains. It was like an old road from back in the Havemeyer estate and everything. And there used to be a village up there called, I can't remember what it was, Havemeyer Hollow or something like that.
But now Mr. DePriest has gone and tried to get permits, but they're saying that his land is landlocked, that he has no rights.
Yeah, but he has a right of way on this road on up Halifax.
That you gave him because it was your property to give, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that was established by the town. Made me do that. They said when we were building this road that we couldn't cut off any landowners going up the hill. The town actually.
And basically, they are with their signs. They're very, you know, what do you call it, restrictive.
Well, it is restricted to. The road is technically restricted to the people that own anything on this side of the river.
But not according to this Green Acres tax exemption. Here, let me put that up.
Yeah, the sign right here.
This is what originally the tax exempt status was associated with. So for them to disqualify anybody from coming in here, this states that this is privately owned land and dedicated to public recreation and or conservation purposes pursuant to, and then it's got the legal code.
Well, what happened here is the original piece was 643 acres, and I bought originally 163 acres. And that's where you see all the homes here in this piece. And then later on, the place was so successful, they wanted to sell off the rest of the property, which happened to be another 463 acres. So I made a deal with the people to buy it, and with the blessing of most everybody in here. And then a couple people got together and they fought it, and they didn't want to see anything built up there, which was fine with me. But then they had to buy it. So finally what happened is the town made a deal with us to buy it, and we sold it to the town for Green Acres. And the state and the Trust for Public Land and Green Acres bought it, and it's supposed to be open space and Green Acres, and that's what it is. 463 acres up there of the original 600 and something acres. So
would that be included with this piece too? And
no, this was just a separate block and lot, and I just gave this, to the Ramapough tribe for here.
So this here property, it extends to the center of the road?
Well, theoretically, just like actually the homeowners association and you, because you're a landowner over here, own this road, a 50-foot right-of-way all the way up this road, and it's up to you to maintain the road and everything. So
we would technically be able to park along this here.
Yeah. Do they stop people from parking along in front of their houses?
No, only
That's what I
our
said.
property.
Huh?
Yeah, because
Only
the signs
this
only go up
property
to
here.
this corner.
Okay, well then why can they, if they're not putting up signs on their property, then theoretically they should put up signs in front of all the properties on all the roads.
That's what I said.
Either one of, you can't have it one way and not the other. So
Yeah, and they have the private contractor who actually put these signs in. When he was doing it, I came to see what he was doing.
who was it?
Can't recall his
The
name.
guy told me his name, but I can't remember. But,
Yeah, but
he
he
was
was-
hired by the association to put these
Well,
signs up.
he was hired by two neighbors in particular from right up there.
Murray. Yeah, that woman paid me out.
Yeah, she's the
Can we quote you on that?
she's the one that's
You
been
can quote me on
No,
that.
I'm just teasing.
she's been coming over here watching us through binoculars and taking pictures.
Oh, that
calling the
story I was
police on
telling you
us.
about the police?
Yeah.
She was the one, she came over here that day after they were detaining us and telling us all this stuff. There were 14 cop cars in here, and she come running over and said, did you see him? Did you see him taking the electricity? Aren't you going to arrest him?
Yeah.
I mean, the cops going, no, we can't arrest him. And I asked him, I said, this is standard procedure for a report of theft of electricity?
It's charging phones.
And of course, he wouldn't say nothing. You know, he didn't respond to it. But and they were here within 2 minutes after they were all sitting out here waiting to come in.
In other words, they set you up.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were setting us up to just as
The president of the Polo Club actually set us up.
And it seems to be the plague of this land is everybody that's owned it gets so harassed by this community that they give up. They don't want anything to do with it. So,
Well, you
and
know,
they're still doing the same thing here.
anytime you need me to testify in court or any otherwise,
It'd be great.
yeah, I'd be glad to give you a statement because I gave this property to them. You know, and actually I think a while back, I think Redbone and I talked to the town about swapping a piece up on Stag Hill
Right.
for this,
Right.
and the town owned that piece, and they didn't want to do it.
That's been something that's offered, but I don't think that's going to be something that they're even going to consider until a lot of other things are settled.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to disclose too much of what the.
Well, they wanted money too. They wanted this piece of land, and they wanted money in addition.
I think as far as the things that have been executed against the people since we've been here in October, I don't think there's enough money to pay for the harassment and the stuff that these people have created. I don't think there's enough money in the first place. I don't know what kind of money was offered, but it may be something that comes into play. But it's going to have to be quite a exchange that I can see. I don't have any authority to say yay or nay, but you know that's.
And Chuck, just to confirm, so how much land did you give to the Ramapough?
I think there's 13.3 acres here.
It's almost 14, yeah.
Yeah.
And according to the plat maps that we have, it says on the plat maps 12 feet, I think, from the center of the
12.5 feet.
Huh?
12.5.
Right. So I don't know where the 50 foot comes from, but the way Chief saw it was that the signs that they put up here, they put them up on Ramapough land, and it's illegal.
Well, you know what you could do? You measure off 12 and a half feet from the center of the road,
Right.
and you're going to come up with somewhere out here.
Right.
All right. Maybe they could try to stop you from parking there, but you could move the fence over,
Yeah.
and then people could pull in and park here. So if you put the fence out here where the sign is,
Right.
then they can pull in, and they're not on the.
They're not on the 12 feet.
Yeah. Do that.
Any other questions?
So
Mata, Chuck, pero
Okay.
what's this?
Well, thank you for confirming that.
okay, but
I think these guys probably want to talk to you. I know they don't want to talk to me.